They have been called wet belts, oil pump drive belts, or belt-in-oil. This new technology was invented in 2007 by Dayco for automakers looking to downsize the engine compartment, with the first application debuting in model year 2014. Since then, we have seen broader adoption of this technology as the belt's unique design can make an engine more efficient and quieter. But what we're going to address today is how this technology is serviced. Here are the top 10 questions technicians have about oil system belts. At number 10, which engines use these belts? There are two applications for a wet or belt-in oil. Timing belts get the most attention, but many Asian, European, and domestic applications use them to turn oil pumps. You can even find these belts in diesel engines. At number 9, is there anything different about changing a belt in oil versus a conventional belt or chain? The procedures for engines from Ford, VW, and GM are not that different from each other or even from dry timing belt procedures. You still have to lock the camshafts and crankshaft. But there will be additional labor involved in installing and sealing the front cover or oil pan. In applications where the belt-in-oil turns an oil pump, the installation procedures typically involve removing the oil pan to access the belt. At number 8, how do the belts in oil fail? The typical failure pattern is the teeth breaking off the belt. For timing belt applications, the loss of teeth can cause cam and crank correlation codes to damage the valves. For oil pump applications, the missing teeth can prevent the cogs from turning the pump. The broken off teeth will eventually enter the oil pan and even clog the oil pickup. These belts rarely snap due to the materials used in their structure. At number 7, why do belts in oil fail? Since the belt runs in oil, the quality and condition of the oil affect its longevity. Missing oil changes or exceeding the recommended interval can result in oil that can no longer protect the belt. Also, the engine's overall condition is critical. The oil can be contaminated and diluted by unburned fuel, which makes its way into the crankcase, either through ignition-related misfires or a leaking high-pressure fuel pump. Another failure pattern that could be related to short drive cycles, where the engine is not able to volatilize or burn off the condensation in the oil. At number 6, how do you inspect a belt in oil? Since the belt is hidden behind a front cover or oil pan, inspection is challenging. Some OEMs have made the belt visible through the oil filter cap or an inspection cover. If you can see the belt, make sure the back is smooth. Cracks, delamination, and other damage to the back of the belt are grounds for replacement. But the only item that needs inspection is the oil. Look for small debris particles in the drained oil. Since the introduction of timing belt in oil, OEMs have been changing their oil specifications to protect these belts. Use of non-approved oil and additives can cause the belt to swell and degrade. At number 5, are special tools required to change a belt in oil application? There are no belts in oil applications that require a special tool beyond those used to lock the camshafts and crankshaft. At number 4, what other components need to be replaced when installing a new belt? Replacing a belt in oil is not a minor job. Oil leaks after replacement are a common frustration, so make sure to replace all seals and gaskets. At number 3, what is the replacement interval? The service interval is dependent on the manufacturer. Some belts are rated to go up to 150,000 miles. Check the service information for the appropriate interval based on the engine and operating conditions. At number 2, what is the top error technicians make when installing these belts? The most significant error is failing to review the installation procedure in the service information. At number 1, what are the replacement options? As the OE supplier and first to market, Dayco optimized its belt design by combining the best of both chain and oil technologies, significantly reducing noise levels during engine operation. By developing a belt that operates within the engine like a chain, this Dayco invention enabled OEMs to downsize engines and reduce vehicle weight. And now that many vehicles are approaching their service intervals, Dayco has built a line of replacement belts and chains for the aftermarket to take advantage of.